Hi, Cindy.
Now.
I know. This is so exciting.
Pictures and some kind
All right. I know what to do this
John, how are you? Good, how are you?
I know. But it's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
29 more days.
This is the last one for the summer.
Yeah, this is my last one. Yeah, my last one.
Oh, that's fine.
It's been interesting to see how people have. I'd like to call the meeting of the school committee to order, please. We welcome our new member. I hope I don't wreck your last name, Mike Kushakti.
Yep.
Welcome. Congratulations.
Tremendous campaign.
First item on the agenda is the reorganization of the school committee. As you know, we just had a town election. We have new members, and once a year we have to reorganize, and this is the reorg meeting. I will run the meeting until the new chairman is elected, and then once that happens, that chairman will take over. So I will now open the floor to nominations for the position of chairman of the North Reading School Committee.
Dr. Manville, I would like to nominate Mr. Webster for chairman.
Second.
Mrs. Arquetti nominates Mr. Webster, seconded by Mr. Bowers. Are there any other names to be put in nomination? I will then entertain a motion to close the nominations.
Motion to close.
Motion to close by Mr. Bowers. Anybody second?
All right, I'll second.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vanessa. So we have any discussion on the motion? All in favor of having Mr. Webster assume the title of chairman of the North Reading School Committee, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Mr. Webster, welcome to the big chair.
Congratulations, Mr. Webster.
I just like being closer to the
Yeah.
leader. My sole motivation.
Excuse me, sir.
I'm going to take my coat off too now that the formal part of the meeting's over.
Yo, by the way, there's a new rule. The chairman has to wear
Wear a
a
tie?
tie.
I don't have any ties, so that'll be a
I should
problem.
have told you that before you.
I'll have to invest in some ties.
After June 30th, you can have mine.
They're excellent too, so you luck out.
You have very good ties. Pleased to be serving as chair again, and looking forward to the next year with our new colleague and our repeat colleagues. First order of business after the chair is elected is to elect a vice chair. So at this time, I will entertain a motion for nomination of a vice chair.
For purpose of discussion, I'd move to nominate Mr. Bowers as vice chair for discussion purposes.
Do I have a second?
All right, I'll second.
This is a tricky situation because can a candidate not second his her own nomination?
I don't think there's anything precludes anybody being nominated from seconding that nomination, but if I'm wrong, correct me, Dr. Manville.
I think you're right.
I'm not aware of anything that
Now, this is not fair. I'm being tested. Anybody have the Roberts rules out there so I can thumb to page 37 or something?
I don't think there's anything preclude you from seconding the nomination.
No, there is no rule. There is no rule there. You can second, even if it's yourself.
Can I second it?
Yes, that's what
I can second it.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. Okay.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion by Mr. Venezia, seconded by Mr. Bowers to nominate Mr. Bowers as vice chairman. Any discussion?
Is there anybody else that's interested in being the vice chair? discussion purposes.
Yes.
I would like to be considered.
I just think the committee should know that before they vote, that there's somebody else interested as well.
Correct.
I don't know if there's any further discussion.
Any further discussion? Would either of you?
On what motion? I'm sorry.
Well, on this motion, but you're interested. I'm assuming that either of you, one or both of you, would like to say something.
I think this is
Beyond-
an opportunity to say why you'd like to be vice chair.
Since I've been nominated, I'll pick that up.
Okay.
I have a great deal of time on my hands as a retired person. I also have a very strong interest in this committee, or I wouldn't have run for it in the first place. And I think that it's a useful use of my time to be available to try to help the committee get their work done. It's one of those things of sharing the load, and I believe that it's important to do that.
Further discussion?
Sure. Well, I'm also interested in the vice chair position, primarily because this is a role that I think I can serve well in. I've been a listener for the last year in what the school committee has done, and we are facing a very significant year in terms of budgetary issues. I have a lot of experience managing multi-million-dollar contracts and grants, and I certainly have a lot of teaching experience, but I don't think that's the reason I'm 100% behind this. I'm very concerned about the composition of how we do things as a school committee. I want to be fair to the community about, what this position is. And this position is really an appointment to the finance planning team.
Very good.
And honestly, it's not ceremonial, and it really has nothing to do with how much time you have. I have no children, and I could make the argument that I do have the time. But I think at this point, it's important to have somebody in that position who has experience building coalitions in the town, who also understands the climate that we're in, and has no conflict of interest in terms of any persons being in the role of being salaried by the district. And that's one reservation that I do have about Mr. Bowers. So, but I do say this with respect. Mr. Bowers has made significant contributions to the committee, and I only enter this as discussion since I think it's important for us to reconsider this role and how we play it in the coming years. Thank you.
Further discussion? Jerry?
I just want to say that I think both candidates for vice chair are more than capable. Karen just finished her first year and Cliff her second year, and both have been contributing throughout the last year or 2 years through subcommittee work and through participation on the committee through difficult times, particularly the budget. So I think both are qualified. It's a little bit of a difficult situation for us. Welcome to your first meeting. So I think, like I said, either one could serve and do a good job. Karen made a good point that the vice chair and the chair sit on a finance planning team that meet every couple of weeks, sometimes every month or every couple of weeks, with the chair and the co-chair of the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee. And they work diligently all year long, throughout the entire year, trying to put together a budget for the entire town. So it is a very important position. And obviously the vice chair also sits in and takes the place of the chair, if for any reason the chair's not here. So but again, I have faith in both of them. Obviously, we can only have one vice chair. So,
Anything further? I agree with Jerry. I think both could do a good job as a vice chairman. I've been on the board 6 years, and I think this is the first time we've had a contested election. As far as filling in for me, I'm like Lou Gehrig. I'm the Iron Man, so they don't have to worry about that. I'll be here. I'll be here every meeting. But so it's a difficult decision because they're both qualified, and I don't know. That's about all I can say on that. And as I say, Michael, welcome to your first meeting. Any further discussion? Okay, we have a motion on the table at this time to nomination of and second for Cliff Bowers for vice chairman. All those in favor?
aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Abstain?
Then we go round again.
Abstain.
And we have a tie.
Motion doesn't carry.
Motion doesn't carry.
Move to appoint Karen Arricchetti as vice chair of the committee.
And we'll do what Mr. Bowers did, I will second my own nomination. Move it along.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we have a motion to appoint Karen Arricchetti as vice chairman and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Abstain? Okay. So Ms. Arricchetti is voted vice chairman on a vote of 3 to 1 and 1 abstention. Okay. Now we have the secretary, which is really a position where occasionally the secretary has to take notes and kind of keep track of things going on at our meetings. Is anybody interested in that role? Mr. Venezia?
10 years I've never been secretary. So,
Is that it's a yes or no question?
Cliff, are you interested?
No.
No.
I thought that was the first year. That's the first year activity.
All right.
Um,
So we need a nomination for that, for secretary?
All right, I'm gonna completely butcher your last name, so I'm just gonna call you Mike Kay, is that all right?
That works for me.
Then I nominate Mike Kay for the secretary
I
position.
enthusiastically second that one.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Legislative representative, I'd like, if he's interested, Cliff to do this. I don't know if anybody else has any interest in that.
I'd move to nominate Cliff for the legislative representative.
I second that.
Cliff, you interested?
Sure.
So we have a nomination for Cliff Bowers for legislative representative, second by Karen Arricchetti. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. We have liaison to support groups.
I'll do that.
Jerry? Anybody else interested in that? Jerry? Good guy, easy to get along with, good sense of humor. Great guy for this role.
There's nobody else interested.
And you know what?
Then I nominate Mr. Venezia for the position of liaison to support groups.
We have a nomination of Jerry Venezia as liaison to support groups, second by Michael Kucharski. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Now we have the secondary school building committee. Mr. Bowers is on that committee, but he's not on there as a representative of the school committee. He is our engineering, construction, et cetera, expert and representative on that committee, so he will stay on that committee. I'd like to suggest that Mr. Venezia remain on that committee as our representative. He did a great job with the Batchelder School, and we're getting close to the point where we're going to need to drive this project forward. So, unless anybody else wants that role.
Move.
Thanks, I'd like to remain.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bowers, seconded by Ms. Arricchetti for Mr. Venezia to serve on the secondary school building committee. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. We have the policy subcommittee, and even though Ms. Arricchetti was named vice chairman tonight, this historically has been the two newest members on the committee.
Or anybody that misses the meeting.
You've never missed a meeting.
Or
have you,
anybody that misses
Jerry?
the school committee, exact. Now, I think this is a very important committee because you and Cliff this year created several new policies and are working on some now. I know Cliff is in the middle of some policies, so I don't know your desire to remain on that subcommittee, but I was going to say, well, Michael will definitely be on it. Well, you don't have to be, but, so usually that's the way it works.
Well, we actually have several policies